Hey, good afternoon, everyone. I wanted to jump on live here and talk a little bit about Beryl. I know this is more traditionally Tom's time. He told me to come on, do the tropical update, do the full thing here with the 4 o'clock update, and he's going to come on here, let's see, what time? I think around 6. And he'll do the 7-day and everything like that. But this is a forecast on Beryl. We really need to kind of start discussing a little bit more because we actually have seen more eastward shifts in the models. Now, I still don't see this being a landfall in Louisiana, but I'll show you some concerning things that I see. First off, the good news. Beryl has really weakened over the Yucatan Peninsula. You can see all those bright reds we had earlier today. Those have dissipated, and they're down to the oranges and all that stuff now, and just not seeing anything really, really intense on the colors there. Hold on one second. All right, here we go. So you see, Beryl looks a lot worse than it did this morning, but when I look at kind of the bones of what we have here, you can still see a very clear circulation. You can still see that core of activity that's about 35 miles east-southeast of Progreso, Mexico, which is just north of Merida. So they're still saying that center's right around here. I kind of think it's a little further up to the northeast, but continuing on toward the west-northwest now at 295 degrees. So if you picture, and again, I like to have my arrows showing, so I'm going to do this. That's 270. That's due west right there. So say we have an arrow going along that. That would be due west right there. So 295 is going to be a 25-degree angle above that. So your motion here is about like that. And the reason that's a little concerning is it looks like our jumping off point here as this thing makes splashdown or ocean fall, whatever you want to call it. It looks like it's a little further up the Yucatan. I mean, yesterday's runs were keeping this south of Cozumel and cutting it south of Merida and then off that northwestern tip of the Yucatan. And today we're seeing the center probably somewhere closer up into here. So as that continues on toward the northwest, we are going to have to really watch this path and see what happens, especially as we get things to strengthen up here. So here is the path forecast we're going to do just to show you the updated tropical storm path here. And so Beryl right now has winds of 65 miles per hour. The pressure's down to 989 or up to 989, moving west-northwest at about 15. But look at this new track here. You can see that this comes inland. There's Corpus right there. It looks like near or just east of that. And they noted in the discussion here that the European model that had been very, very staunch on this thing going into Mexico is now an eastern outlier. It's actually up here east of the Matagorda Bay, or near it for landfall. So that's on the eastern side of guidance. And we actually have, and what I'm going to do here is flip over to the display capture. Let's see. Okay, let me pull my face back up. There we go. So when I look at the ensembles here from Weather Nerds, this is weathernerds.org, incredible site to look at this stuff, and you can overlay it over the satellites and all that. So you see that jumping off point. We're already on the right side of this, so we're already coming out right here. And notice these stronger ones, these areas where we're seeing more reds and pinks and things like that, that's to the right of this black line, which is the actual operational forecast track. Notice hardly anything going into Mexico anymore. So if we get a stronger storm, we're seeing those turn even further toward the right. So with a hard right after landfall, say we go somewhere between Galveston and Freeport Bay City down here, well, that's going to bring us a lot of rainfall. We're going to see the potential for some severe weather as well, because we're going to have that low-level wind shear that always happens on the east side of these systems. You can see that it also slows down here because we're going, these are every 12 hours from 1 p.m. to 1 a.m., 1 p.m., and then we don't see much, it doesn't really move much faster over 24 hours from 1 p.m. Monday to Tuesday, and then 1 p.m. Tuesday to Wednesday. It even slows further. So it looks like it slows to a crawl. We keep the wind in check here, so I don't think we're going to see like widespread power outages, but we are, all of the area now is in the cone. I do think the landfall cone is going to be more of a maybe eastern suburbs of Houston down toward Corpus Christi is the most likely zone in that. Of course, the cone still goes further west, but with that eastern trend and with what we're seeing and with what I see on these ensembles, I really think we're going to see at least some local impact here. Again, I don't foresee big power outages or anything like that. Let me pull the cone back up. Oh, took myself off. There we go. Sorry about that. But I do think, being in this cone here, we're in that cone of uncertainty, so I do think we're going to see that eastern flank of this thing, and we're going to start seeing impacts from this, the rainfall, as soon as Monday afternoon, and then Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, I think that rain lingers around. So let's go ahead and take a look at our next frame on this. This is the GFS model, so just another kind of interpretation of what we're seeing here, and that's kind of what we're doing. We're taking the tour on these models, and you can see here that this is already a little further west than it should be, but we get that northern turn, and with that shape of the coast right there, if we get the northern turn before this comes in, say, you know, around Corpus, if it were to be this far west, you still, with a northern turn, you're going to see this thing stay offshore further. And then with a northeast turn after landfall, hopefully, hopefully it doesn't happen before, because that presents another set of problems, but it looks like that will be inland somewhere west of Houston, and that's going to come up, and that's going to bring us rainfall. And you can see how this all kind of sets up. We get the moisture to kind of get injected into that from 96L, and then we have that circulation still going out here, really holding still, per this model, at least, from what we're seeing now. So it looks like we're going to get a lot of rain here. We're going to get some rain. Obviously, we've had some rain today. We're going to get more like this tomorrow. This is not associated with Beryl. This is actually associated with the system that is going to pick Beryl up and pull pretty much the remnants overhead. Hopefully just the remnants. Hopefully we don't see any further shifts toward the east. Here are your tropical models from this morning. The new OFCL, you see that right there? When that's on the western side of these models, you can almost always book it that they're going to move further east. So while we've seen, like, I think 3 eastward shifts in a row here, I think we'll see another one tonight unless we see a big change in models. And you have to understand, we're flying, I'm not flying it, but they are flying in the experimental aircrafts. They're dropping stuff all over the Gulf of Mexico to measure things. We're getting more balloon releases from Gulf Coast weather stations from the National Weather Service. So with all that data going in, we're seeing better data going in, and that's when we're seeing this eastward shift. So it's something to monitor for sure. Here's your forecast on the tropical storm force winds, and I don't even think this is updated, actually, because this would be a little further to the east. Still nothing up here, but you can see that the Texas coast is in the crosshairs here. And perhaps, the most important thing around here is, like I mentioned, severe weather, but we're seeing those rain totals. I said they would increase. I think they're going to increase further. 2 to 4 is what they're calling for through Thursday, but that includes the weekend. I think it's going to be an easy 3 to 6 inches of rain, especially with that slower forward speed of this. Further west, I think we see more rainfall, but it's going to move a little further east. They go off the track that's given to them, and this was the track from this morning. So with a further shift to the east this afternoon, with another one coming later on, I think we're going to see these numbers increase and move to the east. So I would plan on at least 3 to 6 inches of rain, which I think we can handle, but with a tropical system parked out to the west, I know we could definitely see some more extreme totals than that. So that's kind of the rundown of things right now. Let's see. Yeah, slow is not good, because when these things slow down and you get that core of moisture, and then you're pulling in the moisture from 96L, loads of tropical moisture already in place out here, we're going to see some heavy rainfall. Very efficient rain producers. So these numbers, again, those are coming up. Let me pull, if you just joined us here, I'm going to put that updated path on, and then I'll let you get out of here. But I just wanted to give you, and I'm just going to manually go through this and show you that the landfall is now forecasted to be around or just east of Corpus Christi and turning toward the northeast and slowing down, and that's going to bring us a lot of rainfall. I do think we're going to see this shift further to the east, and we're really going to learn a lot more tonight even as we get more data in. This comes back out over the water. We get another look at what the structure of this storm is, because they'll be able to fly a plane over it and check things out and see what's going on there. But that is your update for today from your Igloo Roofing Weather Center and your Atlas Home Service Tropical Update. How's that? All right, folks, lots of rain coming. It looks like we're going to see some this weekend. If you need some dry time, I think Sunday's your day. Scattered storms then. Monday, things go downhill. I'm going to update fully on a text update here in just a minute. Well, probably about an hour, because it takes me a while to get it all out and make sure I have everything coherently in place and all that good stuff. But if you have any sort of, hurricane plans that you make, if you have, just to be cautious, because this is July. We're going to see other stuff. So if, some non-perishable food, some water, things like that, medicines, just have it ready just in case. I don't want to see this thing shift further east and us to get caught by surprise by this, because we shouldn't be surprised so much. We've got a few days to go on this, but the trend has not been our friend lately. So I'm watching it closely. I'm not worried, but we're going to stay ahead of this, and we're going to keep you as informed as we are. Tom will be up with a 7-day forecast, I believe, around 6 o'clock, so tune in for that, and I will see you back here tomorrow morning. Facebook posts will be coming here in about an hour or so. Have a wonderful Friday evening.